Hi, I'm John Van Buren, and let me tell you about why I'm in Rotary. I've always felt like we are all called to help the needy, and Rotary is the one organization that lets you help not only in your own community but around the world to help bring peace and unity to our planet. It's a wonderful organization. I recommend it to anybody who's interested in service above self.
Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon as it is. If you'll stand with me, I want to welcome you to the Thursday, March 11th meeting of your Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club, celebrating our 84th year of service to the Irving community. I'm going to call upon Shane Webb to lead us in our invocation. David Harris will lead us in our pledge. Neil and Sandra will lead us in singing The Eyes of Texas, and Bobby Haas will introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. All right, all the Longhorns in the crowd are making some noise, so Jim Klein, you guys are going to have to drown them out a little bit some. So Pastor Shane, lead us as we pray, sir.
All right, I hope y'all are doing well this week. It's been a busy Rotary week for myself, so if anyone's...
Excuse me just a minute. You guys online can't see this, but Shane is wearing a kilt, so just wanted y'all to get the full effect.
We can see it.
That's right. St. Patrick's Day is upon us. But it's been a busy Rotary week for me, so our club has continued to stay busy during the pandemic with putting flags together. We've had pets all this week. I've been grading scholarships. So the fun continues. And we've got a big race here in Irving coming up in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to run in a kilt. So I was doing a little promo for Lazaro there. And also, if you are able and willing, we're doing a blood drive at Woodhaven Presbyterian Church this Saturday. So after you go run your race, you can join me in giving blood. That's right. And then just let it pump out, because there are a lot of people that are currently in need. So if that's something you can do, consider helping us out. And now let's pray. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for these, your people, these who are dedicated to service. I am grateful for them, for the joy that they bring to my life, for their friendship. God, I ask that we would continue to serve this community, and that we would show compassion and love to those around us and those who are far away. God, may you bless the food and the presentation that we will have this day, and that you would help us to enjoy each other's company and have fun being part of Rotary. And Lord, we pray for good weather for the race this weekend. And we pray these things in your holy name. Amen. All right.
Those of you online are missing the little jest in the room here. So, well, we're going to introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. Bobby Haas, come to the mic and introduce our guest today.
I am very glad to introduce Penny Davis. She's from the Grapevine Rotary Club, and she actually lives in Coppell, and but she is visiting with us today. Penny?
Got everybody? All right. Well, everybody else are home folks, so we're glad everybody's here today. Thank you for that, Bobby. Well, a couple of you may know, I called to confirm our program yesterday, and he did not have it for today's date. So we have made an adjustment on the calendar, but I immediately reached out to our president, past Rick Lindsay, and asked about his ideas. And so we thought we would call today's meeting Rotarians in Action. And so we're going to give you an update on several things. I've asked Bill Labar to give us an update on the flag workday. Now, 3 weeks from today, on April the 1st, we're actually going to have a program about the flag program. But this is really just a quick update on the workday and maybe about some of the work days that we're going to have coming up after that. Lazaro is going to give us an update on the race that's coming up this Saturday and how you can get a kilt and run along with Shane on Shane's team there. If you've just always wanted to do that, I mean, this is the time. And some of you would pay extra money to see certain people do that, so we might make it a fundraiser. Jordan's going to give us a quick update on what's happening with cleanups. We helped him back last September with his motorhome and helping the homeless. And then I'll conclude the meeting today with an update on our 2021-2022 board. There actually has to be an official vote from this club on our board members. And so we're going to do that today. Before Bill comes up, and Bill, you go ahead and make your way this direction. I was given a note from Lindy just at the beginning of the meeting. We now have 770 paid flags. We have 1,305 pending. So we're a little bit beyond a third of the way there. And we have $35,509 in revenue that's come in. That is great. If we can get those other 1,300 renewed, we'll be over $100,000 in revenue. That goes a long way with helping us be able to have a significant impact on this community. So I'm grateful for all those that work with the flag program, including this past Saturday. So yes. Tell us what happened there, sir.
Well, we scheduled a flag building day for last Saturday to redo the flags that were destroyed after the last year. And we had a great group that showed up. And let me tell you how this process works. When we say we're going to be there at 9 o'clock, start at 9 o'clock, I'm usually there about 8:15 or 8:20. Open the barn up, clean it out, because a lot of trash flows up in there, and to begin prepping the drill and the tables and stuff. And Mara Gast, who was not able to be there, either Mara or Randy Hubbard always shows up early with me, and we put the pipe out and we open up the flags so that when the people get there at 9 o'clock, we can start production. And we had a good group. We built 50 flags in less than an hour, which is way cool. That's all the old flags that we had are now built. So when we come together again, and I'm thinking we need maybe after Easter, Saturday after Easter, maybe around the 1st of May, and then again in May, we'll try to build at least 50 each day new flags, because nobody knows how many flags we actually have. Okay, it's a little hard to keep up with that. So we'll plan on maybe the Saturday after Easter to build flags, and then towards the end of April, and then sometime in May. Then, because this is what happens, Memorial Day, then Flag Day is on the 14th, I think, of June, and then the 4th of July comes, boom, boom, boom. And if we have any destroyed flags, and it depends on the weather. If we have weather like we've had this week, there will be destroyed flags because they get torn up in the wind. If it's nice weather, then we don't have that. Now, taking those apart is a two-man process. And no more than two, because you get in each other's way. And I usually do that, and I'll get somebody to come down there to help me, and we can take a lot of flags apart pretty quickly, and then so that we can rebuild them. So that's kind of the plan. Now, for those of you who wonder, and we haven't told you what we do with the old flags. We take those to Brown's Funeral Home. Gary Westerman cuts the grommets out of them, folds them, puts them in the bottom of caskets of servicemen that are going to be cremated. That's a totally appropriate way of disposing of an American flag, rather than putting it just in the trash. Yeah, it's a good thing. And I work closely with Gary. I make sure that we keep caught up on that. So that's kind of that's what we do, and that's where we are. It was pretty funny. We got one of the reasons why I get there early is to make sure we have everything. When I got there this Saturday, we didn't have any ties, so I called Bob Bourgeois at 8:30 and said we need ties. And by the time he got there, we had the whole crew there, and then we were able to go to work and really go to work. And I want to thank Robert Alsup for the magnificent cinnamon rolls. Woo-hoo! What a way to end the deal. And we were in and we were done by 10 o'clock. We started at 9 and we were finished and complete by 10 o'clock. And I want to thank everybody. As long as we have a big crowd, we can make that work. And Maura, we missed you, but I know where you are. So, hey, Patty. So anyway, it was a good day.
Now, many of you remember that old adage that many hands make light work, and really what we're trying to do is to take the burden of the flag program and spread it on as many of the shoulders of the Rotarians as we can. So I thank Bill for his leadership with the production side, and I thank Rick and Bob and Kathy for their assistance in leadership with the flag sales and the distribution side of this. So excited about what we can do. I will tell you, one of my goals for the flag program this year is to have more Rotarians involved with actually putting out some flags. I got a flag route last year with 42 flags. Takes me just under an hour to put those out, a little less time to pick them up. And but those 42 flags, it saves us the money we would normally pay someone else to distribute that. So that's more money that the Rotary gets to keep to turn around and give out in backpacks or scholarships or anything else that we're doing with that. So if we could, I'm going to try to cluster a few routes that if you're interested in that, it's really simple and they mark it out for you. Super great. So Kathy, just the order that y'all give those to us, you can just, once you do it once or twice, you just, your card writes itself. All right. Just about. All right. So are you queuing up for Lazaro? Okay. So we're going to start our Rotary Rotarians in Action. Lazaro's got an event this weekend. And so we're grateful that not only is it an event that benefits our city and benefits the hospital foundation and students, but it's also an opportunity for Rotary to be in front of our community. So Lazaro, tell us what's happening and what we're doing.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for allowing me to give an update about the Irving Marathon running series. Jordan is I always like to give a visual of what we do whenever I do a presentation. So we're gonna start off with a video. This is the last big marathon event that we hosted at Toyota Music Factory on April 2019. So I'll let Jordan play that real quick. So that was the So that was the 2019 Irving Marathon. Since 2013, when we founded this marathon, it was meant to be a once a year event, and as a result, it was something that the community came together. At the end of 2018, my best friend, who was managing the Irving Marathon at the time, decided to exit the business. So I took over. So I kind of got together with a couple of friends who are runners on how we could make it more of a event that serves the community year round. So we decided to start a running series where we had different events throughout the year. They were also to be themed in a way that made running fun. A lot of times, if you played in sports in high school, unless you were a runner, right, you love running, but any other sport, a lot of the times we were told that if you mess up, you gotta go do laps, right? You gotta go run. So we were, unless you run like I said, a track or cross country, a lot of us are thinking that running is not fun, that it's punishment. So that's the mentality that a lot of people grew up. So we wanted to change that with the running series by making the entire series themed differently and more fun. So that way we attract a lot of people that might be borderline wanting to get into the sport of running. As you guys know, there's a lot of benefits to running, to the health, also to just the mental state of a lot of our youth. So we decided to focus on childhood obesity because we feel that working with kids in the community, we're able to make a bigger impact as they grow. They tend to have more leadership. Running is tough, so they learn grit, but also, health benefits that a lot of kids grew up having. So that's how we came about the Urban Marathon Running Series. This is one of our themes. So, for example, if you guys go to irvingmarathon.com, you can see the different themed events that we have. This happens to be the Love on the Run. And we try to make it, like I said, very appealing to just anybody that wants to join. The St. Patrick's 5K, for example, is a fun and festive, as you guys saying, for the community, right? So it kind of gets a lot of different people excited about the possibility of going to an actual foot race at its time. It's all of our events are USATF certified and sanctioned by the USATF Federation. So, for example, track teams can come and compete at our events and count as one of their events and whatnot. The marathon, that is the one that you saw the video of, is the Boston Marathon qualifier. So that means that people all over the country and the world come to run in Irving because the course is very flat. So a lot of people like to use the course to qualify for Boston. So going again with the theme, right? So the idea of the marathon running series was to keep people going. The 5K, the St. Patrick's, for example, is a 5K race. The marathon has a 5K race, a 10K race, 13.1, which is a half marathon. So it doesn't matter what your fitness level is, you can actually participate on any race. One of the good things about having Irving with COVID, right? We are grateful to be in a great community. So, and at the end of March, middle of March last year, whenever the gathering restrictions were came into play, so we had to figure out a way how to keep going whenever we're not allowed to operate outside. But throughout COVID, our team has actually gotten even stronger. We have a person that handles the operations. So this person is in charge of handling like the cones, working the routes and whatnot. We have another person dedicated to handle our customer service, emails, and customer management. Jordan actually here, you guys know Jordan, he helps with our community partners. So we have about 25 community partners that we work with that come and set up our events, and they bring goodies for the runners and things like that. So it makes the events even more fun. And then also our community, we work together with the mayor's office and the city management and the police department and just everybody just to keep this going. And as a result now, the Urban St. Patrick's is one of the first very events that we're going to have that are live in person. We are continuing with the same safety plans that we had told the city management that we were going to use. So that still stays in place, even though that a lot of those restrictions have been advanced so we can have a safe event. And then, like I said, we are just continuing to grow at the marathon on March 27th. Right now, we have 1,200 people registered for that event. We're expecting about 3,000, which is about 50% capacity of what the venue can hold. So that's a little update what we're doing. We also have Fiesta de Mayo event, which is in May. We have an Oktoberfest half marathon, which is going to be in September. We have a turkey trot, which that one actually was in person this past November, working with the mayor's office. They were able to allow the safety fund to be approved. We had 600 people come to that, but this year is going to be a bigger event because, you know, it's going to be a little different. We also have a Christmas race called Irving, which I gave you guys some of the medals of what that looks like. So, like I said, we tried to make it very appealing and aesthetically pleasing for everybody. That way they have a good experience and they wear our stuff. These are our shirts. This is a Patrick shirt that we have as well. But that's all I have on that. I'm going to leave you guys with one last video so that you see the difference between the marathon events and also what the Irving Marathon Running Series is with the smaller events. This was a video that we made at the Love on the Run event. This was the last in-person race that we had before the pandemic. If you guys want more information after this, go to irvingmarathon.com and you can find a ton of stuff on there. The question was how people that are not going to be running can participate and help. We have volunteering opportunities. We have 8 stations throughout the race course, handling water. So through COVID, you're not going to be giving them the water, just giving the water table with water so they can pick it up. Also, on the menu, we have set up crews that we need. We also need crews to hand out the medals at the finish line or make sure that there's enough medals on the table so we can grab it for now with COVID, right? So also spectating, right? So we have all these people coming from all over the country that we would love to have them be greeted by the community. So there's a lot of areas that we put for spectators that are spectator friendly. So for example, the marathon goes around William Square 4 times, right? So this would be good to have the community there, you know, the signs, greeting people. If you're part of a community organization, come out and cheer. You know, we have a lot of different ways. There's a participant guide at irvingmarathon.com as well, and a volunteer guide at irvingmarathon.com has all the information. Any other questions? How long is the 5K race last? For a 5K race, most people are going to take between about 17 minutes to 45 minutes to finish a 5K. So a 5K race is usually done in about 2-3 hours. For a marathon race, the entire race course is open for 6.5 hours. And we have about 60 police officers for the marathon covering the race route that day. But it takes somebody to run a marathon anywhere between 3 hours to 6.5, which is the max course cutoff. That will be the one in March 27th, the one that will meet a lot of volunteers and community support out there. Not just for us, but also for the participants that are running the praying for this for months, some of them, and for some of them, it's going to be one of the hardest things that they do. So the more that we can get the community out there to support, I think that'd be great. Other questions from?
Good job, Laz. Thank you, sir. That's an important event for our community. And we're grateful for Lazaro's teamwork to make that happen. So I'll be out there Saturday morning. Now, some of y'all saw that clip. I don't know why everybody else on that clip was moving fast and then it got slow motion just to that clip. I'm not exactly sure why that happened. I'm sure that was a technical glitch, but anyway. Well, let me ask Jordan to come up. As you know, last September, Jordan came to the club with his idea about being able to get a motorhome going into some of the difficult areas where the homeless people live, and be able to give them an opportunity to clean up. And we didn't spend any Rotary money on that. There was about 40 people here that gave $20 each. We raised $800, and he rented a motorhome for 4 days. He was able to take the video and that experience and turn around and raise $16,000. And then he was able to buy a motorhome, which I'll let him tell you about. And now is out there really impacting the community on a daily basis. So do you want to play your video first, or? Yeah. Okay. You want to take the mic and I'll push play, or? Okay. We got a short video that he's going to let you watch, and we'll give him an update. And then I'm going to do a little board talking about our board for 2021 and getting you to vote on that. So Jordan, you ready? So one of the things why he's getting that video queued up is you saw him going into homeless camps there, and he's really transformed the outside of this motorhome. I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about that. So Jordan, you ready?
Yeah. So that video that I just showed was about 6 seconds long. That was from yesterday. There's a community of about 40 to 45 individuals that were living on private property just outside of downtown Dallas near Fair Park. And because of the, they have tents, and it wasn't up to code because the city came by and had taken all of their supplies and things like that. And so they gave them 2 weeks into a city-owned hotel. But once the 2 weeks were done, they had nowhere to go. But then they also didn't have any of their stuff because their stuff was taken by the city. And so these individuals came down and they actually set up camp, a new camp, out just outside of K. Bailey Hutchinson. And so there's thousands of people getting their COVID vaccinations in the long line. And then there's about 40 tents that were set up right on the hill, actually where the YMCA Turkey Trot normally goes, that street right there. There's about 40 tents that are set up. And so they're just asking for a little bit better care of this environment, a better solution. And so again, we don't really have a dog in the fight, but there was a need that needed to be met. And so I was there for yesterday for about 7 hours, just giving showers and providing restroom facilities and individuals to wash hands or wash your face. And so that was just one opportunity. And I hope that in that short clip, you got to see what we are cleanup, we're terming the big house. It's actually because my son calls it the big house. And so you can see the motorhome on the top left. We painted the outside on both sides with black chalkboard paint. And so after our neighbors engage with the big house, they're able to get out and they're able to write something, anything. Most write a thank you of some kind or a scripture. We do give them the opportunity to write a need. If there's a specific need that they have, write it right there, and then we'll see what we can do to get that need met. Or if there's a message they want to get out there, they can do that as well. And so I just wanted to show a couple of the examples of some things that have been written. Each time it rains, it washes it completely off, but everything that you see on this top left picture, which is, if you can imagine, the other side looks almost identical to it. It normally, it doesn't take but about 2 or 3 days for it to look like that. Just because of the volume of neighbors that we are interacting with. And so you can see many thanks, and you can also see just individuals just engaging with the motorhome. And so I just wanted to give you guys a couple of examples of that. I love this one. Things like this make a difference. And then also in the top left one, it says, I feel like a new person. And it's just simply from taking a shower, something that often each one of us take for granted unless it's a snowstorm and our pipes burst, but these are things that are generally something that doesn't happen very often. Most of the shelters that are down in downtown Dallas, if they did provide shower services, either no longer provide shower services or that's on a very limited capacity. So our motorhome, which last month we did 99 showers, the month before that we did 98 showers, which our goal each month is 100, so that at the end of the year we'll have 1,200 showers that we would have given to the community, not just in Dallas, but all across North Texas. I get calls almost every day for people asking, can you bring it to, there's a person I see every day and I talk to them about your motorhome and they'd love to take a shower. Can you bring it? And oftentimes my answer is yes, but you have to be there because you're the connection. It's not just us, it's all of us. And so we have a goal of 100 showers a month. This month we will easily exceed that, barring any catastrophes or anything like that. But we have a goal of 2,500 hygiene kits that we're going to distribute. A goal of 2,500 clothing kits is what we call them. And then our biggest lofty goal that we have is 60,000 what we call cleanup kits. They're beverages and snacks put together. That's what we spent the first several months of cleanup before we had a motorhome to take into the communities. And that's how we build relationships, just constantly being in the community, handing out needs that our neighbors need, and just being there to engage in conversation or be able to assist in any way capacity. So those are some of the things we have working on. Sorry, I got somebody joining our Zoom group at the same time as all this. So there's a few more pictures as you can see down here. We had a guy right here at the very bottom. It's kind of hard to see, but he put a pretty large mural on the side. He spent about an hour just drawing and being very detailed. So the level of skill that this guy, his name is Jack, has is pretty tremendous. But I know that I am personally grateful for Rotary for allowing us to capture the vision that back in September 30th until October, be able to put it into action to allow others to grasp a hold of it and to then be vision carriers and wanting to be a part of that and carry a torch in whatever capacity to share the cleanup story. That camp that I first mentioned today, they had a very lengthy article that came out in the Dallas Morning News today about, it's called Camp Rhonda. The reason being is one of the very first individuals that was there at the camp, she actually passed away at the camp. And so they named the establishment of the camp about her. So regardless of the location, it's called Camp Rhonda. And so I know that we'll be back out there Friday evening and Saturday, most of the day on Saturday, providing any type of services like that we can. And so I know that they have a lot of needs down there, but for us, we're just grateful for the opportunity to be able to do whatever we can in the community. So Yeah, so we're able to, yeah, so before we got a new shower head, we were only able to do about 8 showers at a time, and we'd have to go refill. And so I would have community partners all across North Texas to where, depending upon where I was, I would call or just send a text and say, hey, I need to refill. I'd go refill. Thankfully, with the new shower head, we can get about 16 showers in at a time, which that's pretty much a full day. Because everybody gets about 15 to 20 minutes, and in dressing time and things like that, that normally accumulates to an entire day of serving our neighbors. And so then we can just fill up in the morning, and then we'll fill up again that night. So. Yes. Yep, there's one shower, there's one restroom, and so it's one person at a time. It's more about the quality of our engagement. And so we, because it's a motorhome, we're inviting each and every neighbor into our home at the same time. So for that amount of time, they're in our home, and so it's a pretty good little environment. I think
I want to get his question, but you might tell him this, you ended up being able to get a very specialized motorhome, not just a commercial motorhome.
Yes. So this actually, the door that this gentleman, Jack, is drawing on is a wheelchair lift. And actually, Friday, we're going to be putting this lift to use. There's a woman named Amanda who's down staying at Camp Rhonda outside of K. Bailey Hutchinson across from City Hall in downtown Dallas. I actually know her from being over in Plano off of 75 in Forest, where I was invited to come out there during the snowstorm. They live up underneath the underpass, and as she was coming down to get out to walk across the street to go use the restroom, she slipped and fell down and shattered her ankle in multiple places. So she's now in a wheelchair. She's had surgery, and everything's going well. But for her to use the shower, we're going to be using the wheelchair lift to lift her in. The shower itself is an extra wide, wheelchair accessible, so we'll be able to wheel the wheelchair right in, provide that service. So we're excited for that opportunity to be able to do that. We weren't able to do it yesterday because they had some things they had to take care of, and they didn't get back until late. And so, Dr. Parr, yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's quite entertaining. Number one, thank you so much for that work.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal work. Second question though, question really is, you know, you're providing showers. How do you deal with shower supply, bathroom?
Yes. So all the supplies gets donated to us. All the different body washes and shampoos and conditioners generally all just gets donated. People will go to Walmart and they'll walk by the clearance aisle and pick up whatever that's there and then just pass it along. We're almost completed utilizing the hygiene kits that you guys created. We had about 150 prior to what you guys made, I think 300 total. We gave 100 to Louisiana. We took 200. And then shortly after you guys made hygiene kits, the Medical City of Louisville, which is now called something else now, I think it's just Medical City, but they donated 300 hygiene kits as well. So we're almost out of those, but all those supplies are donated. We sanitize after each individual use. I actually called when I started cleanup back in May, long before we had a motorhome. I called several different nonprofits who do something similar. They don't have motorhomes. They all have trailers, travel trailers that they, utility trailers they transferred into showers and restroom facilities. And so I just spoke with them about what did they use that, you know, cover CDC and things like that. And so after each patron, we sanitize the entire environment. Everybody gets their own individual towels and washcloth that we take, we provide, and then we wash and prep for the next time they come out, because we don't want them to use any of their items because again, it may be a week before we come back out. So I don't want you to have to try to deal with drying a wet towel. Use my towel and then save your soap, save all of that, because it could be a week before I come back by again. So yes, ma'am. Cleanup. It's a nonprofit 501c3 that I started in May. Yes, ma'am. Rotary donated $800 so we could rent one back in September so that we could put the vision to video. And then we went on a campaign to raise additional funds, which we raised $16,000 to where we could pay for this one and pay for the insurance and a lot of the supplies needed to get going for an entire year. Yes, yes.
All right, thank you, Jordan. That is Rotarians in action, all right? And sometimes and I know a lot of you do things in the community we aren't aware of, and we didn't have time in the meeting today, but I really wanted you to kind of get a snapshot of what's going on out there. And there's ways in all of these organizations where we can get involved in a different level if that's something you want to do. But really today was more about just the awareness. We're running a few minutes over, so let me just tell you real quickly, I need before you leave, I'm supposed to bring to our club our officers. The only thing we're really required to vote on every year is our president, president-elect, and our secretary and treasurer. So those are the officers. But I want to make you aware of not only the people that are going to be serving in different capacities, but some of the vacancies I have if you're interested. And so if you'll allow me real quick, for your 2021-2022 Rotary year, which starts July 1st of 2021, I will be transitioning to the past president's role, which is always a happy role for every president, all right? So Linda Despain, who's out of town on spring break this week, will be transitioning into the president's role. Shane Webb, who has been at PETS training as president-elect training this week. Shane will step into the president-elect role. Lazaro will be stepping into the role of president nominee. So really with Rotary, you have a nominee who becomes president-elect, who becomes president. So it really gives you a kind of a 3-year transition. Tracy Love will be stepping into the treasurer role that Bobby Haas has done tremendously for me this year, and Bobby will continue to help her. David Harris we've signed David to a lifetime treasurer contracts. I'm very excited about that. We got that multi-year contract done. As the president-elect nominee, that person is also over membership. So Lazaro, you'll be helping us with membership this coming year. Val is going to be helping us this coming year with youth service. Don Jensen will be helping us with international service. Dr. Parra is going to help us with vocational service. Mara Gast, Mara, did we get you in a long-term contract for the bulletin? I forgot to ask. Sorry that I'm having to ask you publicly. Just thumbs up. All right. Yes. All right. She's either got me muted or she doesn't object. All right. So Jordan is going to continue to help us with social media. As the past president, I'll chair the past president's council, and I'll also be working with the flag program alongside Bob Bourgeois and Rick Lindsay. Now I have 3 openings that I need Rotarians to step up for. One is I need somebody to step in and help us with programs. Okay, Mara sent me a message, says, don't put me on the spot like that again. Okay, Mara, that's not what the message said. She said, happy to do that, all right? So I do need somebody to help us with programs. We are 3 programs away from having every program filled through the end of this Rotary term, which is the end of June. We're working now on July, August, and the fall. There's roughly 48 programs we have to do a year. And we've got certain people like Mara's good about taking the entire month of May. Mike Kunstad's not here, but he helps us with some programs. Crystal gets us 4 programs a year from the school district. And so there's really about 12 to 15 of those programs that are already in place. The 4-way test is done every year. So really that program chair is responsible for about 30 to 35 programs. And we do have a committee. We don't have a chair of that committee. So if you're that chair and helping us with that, I do need somebody to help us. My next opening with club service. So, and then I need somebody to help us with community service. So if you're interested, then I can get you information about what that entails. All of these really have activities we do underneath them that are well in place, like Camp Riley. We already got Ed, and we've got a team in place to help with Riley, and we've got people in place reading scholarships that happened this week as well. But what we need is somebody that can be over those activities. So it doesn't really mean you have to physically do all of those, but you would be the chair over those. But I need a motion from the floor to accept myself as president, past president, Linda as president, Shane as president-elect, Lazaro as president nominee, Tracy as secretary, and David as treasurer. Those are really the only ones. So moved by Bill LeVar. I have a second by Harry Chris. And can I have a resounding affirmative yes from the club? Those of you online, thumbs up to everybody. All right. So we can turn that in officially to Rotary International for this coming year. I know we went a few minutes over, but I appreciate you staying around. I hope it was an informative program. Next week, you want to be here. Chief Spivey is going to be here in person. Actually, Rick Lindsay will be presiding in my absence. I'll be out for spring break. But we're going to be presenting 2 of the police awards that we do quarterly. And then Chief Spivey is going to give us an update on the Irving police response to COVID and to the snowstorm here a few weeks ago. So it's going to be a really good, entertaining program with Chief Spivey. So encourage you all to be here. Quick things. We do have another bi-monthly board meeting on April 1st. That's 3 weeks from now. So if you're a board member or you're going to be a board member next year, I need you to be at that. And then we're going to have an orientation for new members on April the 8th. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. Buddy Brown, would you stand, and all of you stand with us? I think that's going to close out everything. Lazaro, if they have questions for you, will you stick around? And if they have questions for you, will you stick around a moment? So we're going to do the 4-way test. So Buddy, lead us. Goodwill and family friendships. It will be beneficial to all concerned. Thank you for being here, and have a great spring break. We'll see you next week.